Alright, our MPFR test suite is done. It's the tail end here. All 160 passed. One test not run. Okay. Should have something similar today. Even it's like 159, 150 or something. I don't know. Okay. Nothing critical. Okay. Make check. Now we're going to say make install and make install dash HTML. Okay. I think we're done. Okay. Remove MPFR. Clear. Oh, yeah. MPC is the next package. Okay, and we're going to say configure prefix equals user doc dir is going to equal user share doc MPC dash 1.0.2. Let's see if we string this. We'll say and make and I'm not going to run the test suite. It's not mandatory. Okay, so I'm not going to do it. Make HTML. And we'll stop after make HTML. 0.3 SPUs. Okay. And I want to take this time right here to touch on GCC's test suite. As you can see here, the GCC configure is not big at all compared to how it was when we first started on our GCC past 1. We disabled like everything. Okay, cool. Now, this is 63 SPUs. Okay, that's with the tests. And the tests are a real mother. Alright? And they've always been a real mother. But however, in this last 2 versions of GCC, the tests have tended to time out. Okay? It's kind of very dangerous. Very dangerous. Alright? I'll talk about the real mother aspect of it first. The real mother about the GCC test is, if you look down here, it says here, one set of tests in GCC test suite is known to exhaust the stack, so increase the stack prior to running the test. Okay, like you limit the stack because it will null. I mean, you know, you can't really do anything. And that's with 2 gigs of RAM. That's the highest I've ever had it. The most RAM I've ever installed with an LFS system is 2 gigs. Okay, but with 2 gigs of RAM, your computer will lock up. Alright, so you won't be able to do anything. Alright, I mean, like, go browse the web or anything else like that. Like, you're better off just running away, because when you unlimit the stack, basically, you know, it's all the RAM is set on that machine for this test. Okay, and it's nulling. It's really nulling. So, like, your cursor will drag, you'll move it in literally 5 minutes, 10 minutes later, you might see the cursor actually move a hair. Okay? Alright, your web pages are going to lock up, everything's going to happen. You're going to think your computer's about ready to die. So, I would suggest, while you run this test, go do something else. If you're on a laptop, put your laptop somewhere safe, leave. Okay? Go have coffee. Or something. Okay? Go take a nap. 63 SPUs for me. It's like it says, like 300 some minutes, or that's what's that? 5 hours? And that sounds about right. Okay? It will be a long time for me. That's at 1 gig of RAM on a Pentium 4. Okay? So, that's what I'm looking at. So if you have a 2 gigs of RAM, you're down to about 2.5 plus hours. If you have 8 gigs, you do the math on that. Okay, but this will take up a lot of resources. Okay, and another thing too, if you have a laptop, your machine will heat up. If you have a cooler pad or a fan or something, put it on there, because you can hear. Well, I'm stepping on my mic cord. You can hear my fan right now. It's going, kind of high. Right. Another thing, swap. I'm a big advocate against swap. And the philosophy is, for me, why use swap space if you improve the way you program and improve the program itself? Then you shouldn't, need extra space. Okay. Now, on a 512 megabyte machine, should you have swap for some of these bigger things? Maybe not. But I'm running 1 gig of RAM on this Pentium 4. And how much RAM is needed for a minimal Linux system anymore? Okay, literally, like it's atrocious. Linux is supposed to be fast and small and efficient. However, you have these machines out and these operating systems out now that you can't even run a good Linux. Good Linux is optional, but you can't run a mainstream distro properly without 4 gigs of RAM. That's absurd. That is absurd. Okay, so I'm a big advocate against swap. I don't like to use swap. I don't have swap on any of my main systems that I like to use. And I have swap temporarily enabled for this install. After I'm done this install, I will be deleting swap because I don't believe in it. To me, it's just retarded. Okay, so GCC's tests in the last 2 versions have become consumptive. Is that a word? To the point of crashing your computer. Okay, and I've noticed with the tests, and it's only been these last 2 versions, okay, or the last 2 LFS versions. The GCCs might be the same, I'm not sure, but they chew everything, and your program, instead, before the last 2 versions, your program used to drag, scream and moan, and you thought it died, but it never died. That's without swap. Now, without swap, your program will actually time out or stop. Okay, and your computer, you'll have a dead computer, and you'll have to reboot your computer manually. No key clicks, but you'll actually have to flip your power. Okay. So, if you don't have swap enabled, I would enable swap temporarily for this. And like I said, I don't know if the philosophy amongst developers is something like, every machine should have swap, but to me, I just think it's shitty coding. Okay, I think there is a way that we can get around that, but if enough people believe it, something will become true. So there's a lot of dogma on swap, and I've covered a lot of that. And if you know what I'm talking about, if you know me, you're gonna be like, oh God, I wish you would just stop talking about fucking swap. So anyway, if you don't have swap enabled, enable swap. Okay, because your program will time out, and that'll crash. So split the screen and let's get down to busy. Okay, you should have something like this. After my check was ran, I got nothing. And MPC, make HTML. I didn't run. Okay, I didn't run the text. No check, I'm sorry. I just made HTML. Make install HTML. Okay, good. MPC is done. I mean, literally, you're gonna have to like do GCC and back away from it like it's a grenade. Okay, just run away from your computer, haul ass. Okay. This is 63 SBUs, biggie. It's the hump. After this, the SBU suites aren't as big anymore. I mean, the SBUs aren't as big anymore unless you run test suites, which are not mandatory on any of these after this. Okay. But like I said, your program will time out, and that'll leave you with a hung computer. Alright, and the only way to solve that is to reboot. Now, if you reboot, you have to chroot in again. Well, you have to go through that whole process. You have to mount your drive. You have to set your LFS variable again. Chroot in. You have to skip around in the chapters to find out exactly where you are. Okay, and you remove your GCC extracted package. Okay, and re-extract it. Jump in and reconfigure it. All right. Now, it doesn't really sound. It sounds like it's a little bit, but it doesn't sound impossible, and it's not impossible. But however, you really don't want to jeopardize anything when it comes to the install. You really don't want to reboot unless power goes out, or in my example, in my last set of videos that you'll never see, because I got all the way to core utils and my computer just shut off. Okay, out of nowhere. I was sitting here and I heard bloop, and the fucking thing started rebooting. I was like, oh no, yeah, why? Why me, right? But things happen. But you definitely don't want to jeopardize the install, But there you go. But this is it. This is the big one. After that, everything is small. Small SBUs. You're talking about like 0.5. Now, granted, we still have like 60 more packages to install. Okay. Actually, 70 something, I think it is. But all goes with the biz. Okay. GCC is done. CD in the GCC. And we're going to say make directory verbose GCC build. GCC build. Okay. Sed equals sed. And we need to say GCC 492 configure prefix equals user enable languages equals C and C++. Disable multi-lib. Disable bootstrap with system zlib. Let's check this because I hate to waste 5 hours on nothing. Okay. Now I'm going to string all these together. I'm going to say n make n. Let's say ulimit stack 32,768 n make k check. That means don't stop at errors. Okay, and that's all I'm going to really do right here. Check our syntax, let it go. Okay, and let that cook off. We'll come back, we'll take an eyeball at what output we might have had, make install, and we have some links to run. Then we have to ensure the sanity of our toolchain again, and hopefully everything will be okay. So 6.17, I'll see you guys in like 5 hours of a little. Peace out.